Okay, so by now you've ran an adventure and the players are running around in the campaign setting. And so now let's think about having a couple of different kinds of adventures. We've already done a dungeon crawl because those are simple, easy places to start. So now let's think about scenario-based adventures. And the difference between a dungeon adventure and a scenario-based adventure is that a dungeon adventure involves the players exploring a limited environment, typically some type of dungeon or building or something like that, while a scenario-based adventure involves the players interacting with different aspects of their environment and causing things to happen that way. I tend to, whenever I'm writing a scenario-based adventure, I think of it kind of like a computer program. And what I mean by that is it reads a lot like a flowchart if you were to write it down on paper. And what you want to do is present the location where the players are at, whether it's a town or a city, or it could be a very limited thing, so like maybe the entire adventure takes place at a party or some sort of social gathering, or maybe it's inside a prison or wherever your adventure is taking place at. And then what you want to think about is who are the important actors going to be in this adventure and what are each of their goals. Now above all of this there should be some sort of overarching plot, like someone or something is taking actions that the players are going to need to have some effect on, or maybe it's the players who are the ones trying to do something and someone's trying to stop them. However it plays out, you have the location, and now think about the non-player characters involved in this scene, the NPCs, and come up with a few of them and try to figure out what their goals are, and based on that figure out what they're going to be trying to do. And after you have this information, set up a timeline of events. So if it's going to be at, like, in a town, we'll go with in a town for right now. Say you're in a town and you know that on the first day you're going to give the players a chance to run around the environment and try to get a feel for what the different actors are doing. But then on the second day, say one of the actors is going to go do something that is going to have an effect on the rest of the adventure. And then on the third day, then this other event's going to happen, but if the event on the second day took place, then also have another thing that's going to happen. And that way, you're getting the players involved in a more complex, sort of interaction-heavy adventure that isn't so much about kicking in doors and fighting monsters and stuff, but about interacting with NPCs. So the advantage of this type of adventure is that it lets them show off skills that they might not otherwise get to use, and it also gives them a chance to play with their character's personality and that type of thing. Now, all that being said, there's no reason you can't combine a scenario-based adventure with a dungeon crawl. So, for instance, maybe the players are trying to sneak into a stronghold or something like that, but you know that on the second day that the guards from another area are going to move. And so if the players decide to act on the first day, then they're going to encounter one type of guard. But if they go on the second day, then it's going to be an entirely different situation. Or maybe it's different at night than at day or something, and they're going to have to take that into account. And this encourages the players to keep an eye on the situation and maybe do a little bit of research before they just go in and try to fight stuff. And what you want to do when you write these is think about, say, okay, these are what all the NPCs are doing, but now think about how that situation might change whenever the players become involved. So maybe the NPC from the first example that was going to do something on the first day maybe if the players go talk to him and tell him what's up, or do something like that, maybe he's going to decide not to take the action that results in whatever follows after that. Or maybe by the players going to talk to him, maybe he's a spy or something, and it tips his hand so that the players, if they trust him unjustifiably, he goes and causes something else to happen. So write all of it down in a flowchart type format where you can easily see what's going to happen and then take into account how each element is going to react to the players. So once you've done that, then you might have a pretty good start on a scenario-based adventure, and there's no reason you can't include more traditional stuff like combat and exploration and all those type things, because maybe one of the events that the players might need to do in the scenario is pick a lock to get into a door to steal something, or possibly they're going to walk into an ambush set by one of the NPCs. So there's a lot of room here that you can move around in and do stuff with that they wouldn't normally encounter in a dungeon crawl adventure. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope that you have a lot of luck developing different types of adventures like this, and I will see you next time.
Oh god, what would be a good